All right, guys. So a lot of stuff has transpired, and I kind of want to touch on a little bit of everything real quick. So I'm gonna go through the list of the three major things I want to touch on is the Zoe reports. I also want to touch on the KD trade thing. Now that's over, and I want to touch on the Donovan Mitchell trade to Cleveland. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead and start with Lonzo. So here's the thing: that report that came out was backed by Ramona. I think the guy's name is Jamal. I think it's Jamal Collier or something like that. I don't remember the guy's name, but either way, he's broken a number of Zoe stories before. Him and Ramona. Ramona in particular did the Alan Foster story. So there's that. And I'm not saying that their information isn't valid, but Casey Johnson had reported on his podcast, and he also created another report shortly after that report came out, basically doubling down that yes, Lonzo has experienced some pain, some lingering pain, but mostly it's been more improvement than bad. He's been steady progressing up. And so there was another video that I had found where it was shared to me through a means where one of the guys was saying that the report that Zoe's not going to play is cap. Literally with words that came out of the guy's mouth. Um, I'm not. I don't. Now I'm frame of reference. I don't know the guy's name. I don't know the guy's podcast, but apparently he's somebody that's connected in NBA circles. And he was basically saying he spoke to his sources, and that story about him not being available for training camp was bullshit. He's talking about the story from Ramona and Jamal. Now, you do with that information what you want. All I'm gonna say is, I think it's highly likely that Ramona and Jamal had point A and point Z information. I believe KC had A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, all the way down to Z. I personally think the one big issue I had with that report by Ramona and them is it basically said Zoe was not going to be available for training camp at all. And to me, that's horseshit. Because just because even if he can't participate in on court activities with the rest of the team, he could still be there. He could still be on the sidelines giving input. He could still be working out. He could still be lifting weights. He could still be shooting the ball. There's so many things he could do outside of the actual on court stuff with the rest of the team. So him not being at training camp is a load of shit to me, personally. But I digress. I think he'll be there. And I'm going to say, first off, Kendrick Nunn is still not back, and he's had his for over a year. Zoe started having his prior to the meniscus, but it has lingered since then. I don't think he'll be back till January personally, but would it surprise me if all of a sudden he was able to go during training camp? No, it wouldn't. It would not surprise me. It wouldn't shock me one bit. I'll let you guys figure out where you feel on that. Okay? And like I said, that information I posted in my chat for my channel. So those guys in there, you guys can shout yourselves out. They've seen the video, so they know what I'm talking about. And I've shared any information I get directly, I usually share in the chat. And therefore it behooves people to actually be in the chat so they get this information that I send to people and now you can be privy to it. But hey, be that as may, we'll put that to the side. Let's talk about this Donovan Mitchell thing. Here's the thing. Colin Sexton and Donovan Mitchell are basically the same player. Colin Sexton is way more efficient. Donovan Mitchell is a proven playoff performer. Both are like 6 foot, 6 foot one. Although Donovan Mitchell got like a freakish wingspan. Dude got like a 6'10 wingspan for like a 6 foot guard. That is fucking insane. That like that makes no fucking like how are you bad and I get he's a small guard. How the hell are you bad on defense even guarding your own position when you got like a 6'10 wingspan? Like what? Uh, Ridiculous. Basically, I'm sorry, I know I'm going on a slight rant, but basically, you said this man is an entire Nikola Vucevic, like from arm to arm. Bruh, come on now. Come on now. How do you. It's effort. It's clearly effort. But I don't get that, bro. You got a 6'10 wingspan. Why are you trash on defense? Anyway, we'll put that to the side. Speaking of defense, they both ass in defense, okay? Basically the same fucking player, okay? But Donovan Mitchell has more carry ability, okay? So, he's also had the unfortunate career playing next to Rudy Gobert, Royce O'Neal, Bogdan, and can't think of the other guy's name right now. But yeah, he's doing the bulk of the work. Okay, sure they got Mike Conley, injury prone. He's never there, and even when he was, kind of sucked. And I know I mentioned Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert is not bad, but he's not the offensive player. He's a defensive hub, okay? He is a shut down anything presence in at the rim. So this team, he's got Darius Garland. By the way, can we go ahead and coin this term Michelin, like the Michelin tire mascot? Because it was Sexland. Now it should be Michelin. I'm just saying. I just, if we go do this, we gonna make up all these like corny ass names. I want to lead the corny association here and make this Michelin. Come on, y'all, give me credit. All right, give me credit. If you see somebody said you heard it here first. Jay Stroke said Michelin after Sexland. Although they got Rudy Gay in Utah, so. Wouldn't that be gay sex? Anyway, we ain't gonna talk about that. We ain't gonna talk about that. Pause. We ain't gonna talk about that. But just saying. I'm just saying. Chuckle a little bit, laugh, get the laugh in, you know what I'm saying? It makes sense, right? Anyway. Here's the thing. Cleveland is one of those teams where I think they'll be a very good regular season team. But they're not getting past second round. Because if the Bulls got matched up with them, we're beating them in 7 games. We may not beat them in a regular season. But if I got a healthy Bulls team with Zoe Caruso, and I get to put them on Michelin, I'm sorry, but this is going to be a win. Like, we shutting down 80% of your, like, team's offense. And Evan Mobley would have to literally jump to, like, superstar status this year for me to say otherwise. And even then, I don't like. It's Karis LeVert, Zach LaVine, Mobley, and DeMar DeRozan. Like, if I'm being honest, I think I take DeMar and Zach over Mobley and Karis. And then it's Vooch and Jared Allen. I think they just cancel. So, I'm favoring the Bulls in a 7-game series. Now, regular season, nah. It's a different ball game. Cleveland will win. But outside of that, don't want to see the Bulls healthy. They don't. Just gonna keep it a buck. Anyway, so it's pretty much the same team, minus they had to play like they had Laurie, and so he won't be there, and so their starting lineup is basically going to be Michelin, Karis LeVert, Mobley, Jared Allen, and You traded one bad defender for another. Small. Both of them small. Like 6 foot small. Maybe 6'1". And all I'm gonna say is, whenever I've seen Zoe matched up with Mitchell, gave me fits. Whenever I saw Zoe matched up with Garland, gave me fits. That's all I'm saying. Do with that information what you will, though. But yeah, to me, their second round team. This is Utah Jazz East minus the fact that they do have Evan Mobley, and depending on his level of play will determine if they actually can get to a conference finals or the finals. But I'm not sold on that team. I'm not. He like it depends on Evan Mobley, and I'm not sold. He's taking like this massive superstar leap this year. Maybe in a year or two we can have a different conversation, but I'm not quite sold on that. And then the next part of the conversation we need to talk about is Brooklyn. So the KD fiasco is finally over. He's staying there. Kyrie's staying put. And then you got Ben Simmons, which Stephen A. Smith went on the record to say he ran into Ben this offseason. They've had a conversation. Ben says he's locked in, ready to go. He's healthy. He will play this year. So you're telling me we got Kyrie, who we don't have to worry about protocols, will play. KD, who's committed to playing. And Ben, who's committed to playing. Top three. Top three seed. Top three seed. I'm just saying. I don't get how they're not like they basically was 7 and 8 seed with just KD by themselves last year in a worse team. And I still don't like their team, but they got better. They definitely got better in support areas. And then you're telling me Kyrie will be available and committed to playing along with KD all season, along with Ben Simmons all season. Yeah. Outside of the Celtics and the Bucks, Brooklyn is right there. And then we can take the other teams. But since we're doing that, let's go ahead and have that conversation. Okay? Bucks, Celtics, Brooklyn. Those are your top three. In between that, you got Miami, and Philly, and Cleveland. That's your top six. Then, this is where it gets interesting. Bulls, Atlanta, and Toronto. Somebody's not making the playoffs. If you had to put a gun to my head and make me pick, I'm probably picking Atlanta. But we don't know. Things we don't know. Okay, we still gotta wait to get confirmation on the whole Zoe thing. Because as far as I'm saying, we're getting two different sets of information. I'm gonna side with KC. I think Zoe is closer to being back more than further away from being back, and that matters. Without Zoe, I know they got Dragic, they got Dalen Terry. Anyway, they got Caruso, they got Io. They should be okay. But yeah, it's not looking too good. And that's before we get to Charlotte without Miles Bridges. Yeah, okay. What about the New York Knicks? They didn't do anything. What about the Washington with? You see where I'm going with this? Everybody else don't even matter. Truthfully. Oh, but they got Jalen Brunson from your Mavs, Jay Schultz. And I don't care. They suck. You're going to get another guy who can't defend. He's just supposed to put up points. And you're going to play him with R.J. Barrett and Julius Randle. And sure, they got Isaiah Hartenstein, Obi Toppin, and a couple other guys. I don't think Brunson fixes the problems with the Knicks. We'll see though. Crazier things have happened. Either way, that's pretty much it, man. Like there's really nothing more to discuss. We, I mean, that's my synopsis for it all. Bulls are going to be 7 or 8 seed this year, with or without Lonzo. Actually, I take that back. With Lonzo, they might be a fifth or sixth seed again. But the path to getting there becomes increasingly harder because the Bucks had a weird year the previous year, right? And I don't know if a lot of people understand. They had the later start to the season. They went to the finals, beat Phoenix. I think Giannis played in the Olympics. I could be wrong. Drew Holiday played, and I think Chris Middleton played. Um, Devin Booker, I believe, played too. So they all played. Off season happened. Training camp literally happened like a month and a half later. Bucks were riddled with injuries all year. Lost Chris Middleton in the playoffs. Okay, they got knocked out in the second round, so they got more time to rest. They're one of those teams that underperformed a little last year, but I expect them to be roaring back this year. Okay, Miami lost PJ Tucker. I think that's an underrated L that they took, and they have gone to like the finals, playoffs, conference finals. Wear and tear has got to be building on them. Fatigue has got to be building on that organization. If someone is going to take a big loss or a big step back, I think it's them. I don't think Kyle Lowry is who he was. Okay, so that's my opinion on them. I think they'll take a step back. Celtics should be hungry or hungrier. They heard the noise. They basically came in second place. They got to want blood. They're still going to be at the top. Philly, they got PJ Tucker. That's a massive upgrade for them. Massive upgrade. With they already had James Harden, who's played with them, and James Harden allegedly is supposed to be getting into shape and everything. So if he comes back in shape, they could make a little bit more noise this year. They didn't have James Harden all last year. They had him only toward the end, and Embiid did most of the work. So you got PJ Tucker, who's going to be there, and James Harden the entire year. Philly could be in a better position this year than they were last year. Okay. Cleveland, obviously, they did what they did. Um, the Atlanta thing, I'm going to have to wait to see how that plays out. You might be like, what about Darius Garland? And look, I think those two will naturally fit better. The DeJounte Murray and Trey is a little different because they're weird because of their body type. Like DeJounte Murray's like 6'4", 6'5", but that's kind of what you want Trey to be. You want him to have that height. So really, DeJounte ain't the shooter. Trey is. And if you want to have somebody on the ball, you're gonna want it to be Murray, so that he can shoot. He can have Trey move around, but Trey ain't really all that fast, and Trey ain't athletic enough, and so he's small as shit. And so you're taking that away from Trey, who is a dominant on-ball player and facilitator. And so if you give him the ball, DeJounte Murray can't shoot, so he's just got to cut or play off. Like, it's one of those things where I don't quite get it. So, we'll have to see with that team. Plus the John Collins thing, because he never got traded even though he wanted out. They're solid, though. I give them that. They solid as fuck. Then there's the Bulls. Anyway, so fuck the Bulls. Toronto. Nick Nurse is a coach. Steady progress. Pascal was hurt part of the year. They had some injuries going on up there too. I expect them to be better. Um, can Fred Van Vliet repeat his performance this year? Is the biggest question. The leap that Scotty Barnes takes, because he was elite last year. And by elite, I mean for rookie standpoints, he was elite. He was very, very good. And so, what leap will he take? If we're going to give other rookies the possibility of a leap, Scotty Barnes got to get that too. Outside of that, the rest of the East is pretty much irrelevant to me. Hate to say it. You know, I mean, there's some teams I want to look out for. Like, I want to watch Detroit. I want to watch Orlando, but that's it. So, and maybe Washington if they get their act together, but who knows? You know, my pick last year, which they were on track, but fucked it up. But anyway, that's all I got for y'all. I hope y'all have a good one. Peace.